South Carolina is playing faster than any team in our league. I haven't looked at Coach Martin's entire career, but I'm pretty familiar with it. I would say for sure it's the fastest any of his teams have ever played. Percentage-wise, faster than Kentucky, percentage-wise, faster than Arkansas, the two fastest teams we had played. Play a lot of zone, full court, trying to turn you over, a lot of zone in the half court. For the most part, a brand new roster. They've won their last two. Always the toughest team in the league in regards to how they compete. But a unique style of play relative to how they've been in the past.
Buzz, what do you look at and say, here's some of the things, first parties we got to do to end this losing streak and get back to the way that we're playing?
I think we have actually played really well. I thought we played great against Kentucky. I thought we did some really good things against Arkansas other than how we started. I know that counts just as much as how we ended. We were not tough enough on Wednesday at LSU. They beat us to way too many 50-50 balls. This game will have some remnants of 50-50 balls, tough guy plays on the glass, but it'll be at a lot faster paced. It's only, obviously, LSU is a mirror opponent, as is Arkansas, so there was some more familiarity than there is with South Carolina. We just started on that yesterday, but different. I couldn't believe what the assistants were telling me until I started watching it. So what will be required to beat South Carolina is different than what was required to beat the other teams.
Do you sense at all any doubt creeping on your team, or have they gotten maybe possibly even more confident by, even though losing, playing so competitively and having chances to win those games late?
Yeah, I think it's similar to what I was saying to you the last time I talked to you. It's become really hard to win in this league. And I'm not comparing it to football because I'm not a football coach, but a lot of really good players and a lot of really good teams, and you can still play good and lose. And so the line of success and failure has become more thin in the time that I've been here. I don't think that there's any doubt. You could ask our guys whenever you talk to them. I don't really talk to them like that. We haven't had any kumbaya sessions. I don't know of any counseling sessions that are going on. They know what they have to do. I don't think they're confused by that, how hard they have to do it, and they understand the invisible line of what's required.
And do you have to remind them that even a team like South Carolina that doesn't have the, not at the top of the standings, do you have to remind them that you still have to be careful for a team like that?
Well, I think there's 14 teams in our league that have multiple losses, and so the difference below Auburn all the way down is different. I think Georgia beat Alabama last week. I think that was Georgia's first win. I think they've lost 6, and this is the 3.5-week mark of 9 weeks. And there have already been 7 teams that have lost 3 games in a row or more. So that tells you how difficult it has become to win in the league.
You've been right there. So are there ways to work on finishing in practice and things like that?
Yeah, I didn't think that we started good at Missouri or at Arkansas. And so last week we worked on changing some of our habits and how we started. And I thought we started better against LSU. I'm not saying it was because we changed anything. I think we brought awareness to it. Both of those, particularly Arkansas, like starting 20-4 down is so hard to come back from. So I think that the work that went into coming back and being in a position to force overtime, all of that stuff is good. LSU, I thought we started fine. I didn't think we were great in the first half. We were much better in the second half. I think we were ahead in the last ATO, in the last minute. And then we missed 2 layups on offensive rebounds to take the lead. So it's just, is the start, is the end, is the beginning. It's a little bit of all of it, but the value of it is all the same. And so I think the special situations continue to increase because that value of the possessions are so heightened. And so from a film perspective, we maybe are spending a little bit more time on special situations in practice, a little bit more time on special situations, because that's, to some degree, you have to be able to execute in those special situations.
Is this a season where it might have been nice to have that little bit of break that is the SEC Big 12 challenge, or is this one where it's good to be able to roll back into another conference game this weekend?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I know South Carolina didn't play last year or this year, and I'll be honest, I don't really know how you rotate on or off. I know some of it has to do with your success, but not exclusively that. I had forgot about it until I have this composite schedule thing that I keep on one of my tables just to who officiated this game, where was this game played, just one chart where I can look at everything. And when I looked at it on Thursday when we got back from Baton Rouge, I saw that there were only 2 games. And I was like, why are there only 2 games? And then I think earlier in the week, I think Florida played Ole Miss maybe, and that was a COVID game, and that was the only Monday game, and that kind of threw me off because that wasn't on the composite schedule. Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, we played in it the last 2 years. I guess we're 1-1 in it. Yeah, I kind of like the playing in those challenges. I had never played in a challenge in conference play. They had always been in non-conference. So I don't even know who's playing. Who's playing?
Kansas is the big one.
Yeah, Coach Barnes is going back to Texas.
Is he really?
Yeah,
The game's in Austin?
yes.
Wow.
LSU's playing TCU in Fort Worth. I think Alabama's playing Oklahoma.
Yeah,
Somebody's going to
the
Texas
Auburn's
Tech.
playing,
Or Auburn's playing.
yeah.
Interesting.
With the stretch of 3 losses too, is it, these games like South Carolina, is there a lot less margin for error if y'all do have postseason aspirations in these games that seem to be on paper ones that y'all are favored in?
Yeah, we have an aspiration to play in postseason. I'm very transparent with our guys on what I think that is and how to accomplish that. Not because it's South Carolina, I'm that way from the beginning, you know. I don't think that necessarily anybody would have thought we would have won 4 in a row. And on paper, if you were in Vegas, you would say we were supposed to lose the last 3 in a row. And so is it going to play out that way? And if it plays out that way, is that enough? I think it's dependent upon some of the other things, like when Florida loses to Ole Miss and Georgia beats Alabama, you know, there's variance in all of that. And so I think that's why as a coach, I don't, maybe I should, I don't get too caught up in any of that stuff until the SEC tournament, until postseason play, because so many things can change. You know, some of those teams that in the Big East that it started and you were like, whoa, man, they're top 20. And now you're like, are they even going to the tournament? And you can say the same about other leagues. You can say the same about the ACC. If you really watch it, what was on paper in October, what was on paper at Thanksgiving, what was on paper at Christmas, the closer you get to Valentine's Day, those names start changing. And I think that's why it's important. Like, is it about South Carolina? Is it about Kentucky? Is it about LSU? It's about all of them. Because your team, the teams that typically advance in the NCAA tournament, they continue to get better through conference play. And I think we've continued to get better. What's What's hurt us is the opponent. What's hurt us is we've played more on the road than we have at home thus far. What's hurt us is there's a lot of really good teams, and the margin, like I used to say at Virginia Tech, we were the pawn. And when we get tired of being the pawn, things will change, because it was the haves and the have-nots. And then as that starts melding together and bleeding together, like Georgia Tech wins the ACC tournament last year. Well, yeah, it's just the bottom gets closer to the top as it keeps going. And so, it's like climbing a mountain. The air just gets thinner and thinner.
Buzz, what are your emotions in all these close games? How do you handle the late? Because it just seems like we're going that way, right?
Yeah.
How do you handle the late game stuff?
Competitively, I enjoy it. I think part of what I'm trying to improve at is, if you're going to play 9 consecutive weeks without a bye, and you're going to play 18 games, and you're going to play 9 at home and 9 on the road, and for the most part, they're always at different times. Like, we got home at 2 o'clock Thursday morning, and we should have won. That's hard. What can we learn from it? How can I teach that to our team? Similar to Brent's questions, like, hey, in this scenario, but then how can you get past that, good or bad? How can you get past that and get to the next thing? Because it's happening again really fast. Like, we're going to play Saturday night. By the time I get through talking to you guys, by the time I shower and get home, well, we got to go a full day of work on Sunday, because we're leaving on Monday to play on Tuesday. And so I think the losing streaks by 7 teams, you can't let one loss turn into 2, but you can't assume that one win means that it's going to be a second one. And how can you stay in day-tight compartments emotionally, physically, mentally? And that's why we plan in December. I plan everything we do, literally the timing of it, all of it, for our staff, for our team, for me, from January the 1st through January the 31st. And then on Sundays in January, I plan for February based on what I'm learning in January. Because for me, and I think for kids too, if you can stay to a routine, it helps flush out the emotion, the good emotion and the bad emotion.
Anything else for Coach? Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.